Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Gunterman from Soapbox Stand Up and Speak with another Single and Ready. Guys, when you're dealing with a relationship, how do you figure things out? What is your measuring stick is what I'm trying to find out. How do you know what's right and what's wrong for you? Because if you've been through a couple of relationships and they haven't worked out, how do you know if your preferences, the way you see things, the way that you gather information is the best way to do it? Well, a good way of looking at it is speaking to people who've been in relationships, who've had successful relationships, or someone that is working on figuring out how to best serve up their feelings, their wants, their likes, their passions, their interests in a way that someone else can receive them. See, life is all about relationships. So whether you're in a relationship with your family, brother, sister, or kids, or your parents, everything has some form of connection. Everything. And it leaves its marks on you. See, the way you see yourself, the way you see the world around you, the way you see particular situations, or even the way you see people, it's all based on relationships. Things that you have been through in the past, things that you heard, and even things that you're living right now all affect the way that you see the world around you. And of course, how you see developing a beautiful or intimate relationship. Well, one thing you can do is always remember that the other person isn't you. So no matter how passionate you are, no matter how adamant you are about particular things being done a certain way, or feeling about particular things, or your past experiences, the other person will never ever feel the same way you do about these situations. Now, they might have had relationships that kind of seem very similar. You know, we often say or often hear that opposites attract, but that's really not true. People that have things in common is what pulls you together. Now, you might say the things that make you different is the things that allow you to maybe feel a little bit more passionate towards them. Because when you get into a relationship, you want to try to find someone that inspires you, someone that motivates you to want to be and to do more than what you're doing right now, someone that is taking on new adventures. Now, when I say taking on new adventures, their mind is open to learn some new things, because to them, you are a new thing. Yes, you're a person, maybe not a thing, but you're new. And if they're used to taking on new information and gathering it, and assimilating and figuring it out, that's the way they're going to deal with a relationship. They're open to it. They're going to be wide open to it, unlike someone who's set in their ways. If a person's set in their ways, they might be expecting you just to simply conform to the lifestyle that they're living. So, are you up for that? Most people aren't. People want to be treated equally, treated as I am very valuable. And if I'm valuable, I want you to treasure me. I want you to respect me. I want you to appreciate the things that I do, and of course the things that I say. It's very important to feel understood. Now, these things lead into a greater connection, because as we venture into what we feel is right, we're going to learn time after time what the other person is like. You know, so often, at least in this day, time, and hour, we rush into these relationships without really gathering data on the person. Before you know it, we're fully engaged in, and we're actually treating them like we're married, when we're supposed to be at the stage of just simply gathering information. Yes, dating is all about gathering data. That's it. Simple enough. So as you take your time, as you're not distracted by all the physical things that come with a relationship, you're going to find out what that person is like. You're going to hear the things that come out their mouth. You're going to see how they treat their family members, if they have kids, see how they deal with situations. See, you want some time to go by before you dive all in, before you're fully engulfed or fully engaged with this person. Because you want to figure out that yes, there's a connection, yes, there's an attraction, but we all know that it takes a whole lot more than that feeling of being in love to make a relationship work. Now, you can simply say, love is unconditional, and yeah, you can feel that way about someone, but it's typically us human beings, our love is always based on some form of condition. It's weird, but we can say unconditional love, but often we don't really mean it, because when you're not treated right, when things no longer feel right, it's rare for us to stick around. It is. It's very rare for us to stick around, but it's a great idea to feel that unconditional love. Like, unconditional love could be towards your kids, which is kind of really easy, or towards your parents, but then for another human being to find that another person that you're willing to be have that unconditional love, it's harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just harder. Because we always base it on things that a person does. Like, if you ask someone, why do you love that person? A typical person will list all the things that the other person might do for them, or bring to the table, or make them feel. So what if that person could no longer do those things? Would you no longer love them? To get to the place in a relationship where you feel like, I love you just because. Lord knows that's my goal. That is truly my passion. I want to love someone unconditionally, where I can feel so connected to the person that I can never imagine my life being without that person. So here we go. We're venturing into a relationship. We want to take time. We want to remember that the other person isn't me. The other person isn't you. And it's going to take conversations. You have to have an amazing level of communications, meaning that you might be of the mindset, this is for women, where I don't want a guy that's going to be telling me all his feelings all quick, because if you find you might make him look, or make them look real soft. But then think about how many conversations you've had with your girlfriends in the past about not understanding your man, or never getting to hear what's on his mind. I know he's going through something, but he's not sharing it with me. So what do you really want? Someone that's willing to be open and share their feelings, or someone that's closed off because that's more attractive or more appealing to you? Make up your mind. What's important to you? Would you like to be in a relationship where you could actually hear what's on that person's mind? And now, guys, of course, if you're the giving type, the more emotional type of guy, don't overdo it. Allow the person to grow into valuing you. Don't give so much so quick, because what you want to do is develop a nice balance where it's not all about the things that you bring to the table and the things that you can provide, but simply just your company, your support, your encouraging words, your commitment to keep showing up, letting them know that you really do have a strong feeling for them. So here we go. These are the things that allow you to engage and to hopefully start to succeed, or hopefully succeed in a relationship, but hopefully build up a certain rhythm or mindset that allows you to engage with the person, but understanding that your way of seeing things aren't the only way of seeing things. Your value system doesn't set the system or the standard for the whole entire world. It just doesn't. Now, you could be a really wonderful person, but you have to understand that everyone around you, matter of fact, no one around you has lived your life. No one's going to see the things that you see and feel about the things that you see and feel about the same way as you. Now, once again, when you meet someone, it's not the opposite set attract. It's the things that you have in common, the similar things. So you're going to have some type of common ground, but it's all about getting to know each other, communicating, sharing, because it's not simply all about, I want to be in a relationship where I don't get into any more fallouts, arguments, no, because that's impossible. You're talking about this other person, it wasn't brought up the way you were brought up. They don't have the same system of beliefs. If someone of a different culture, different standards on what they think is right and what's good, what's common knowledge, all that stuff fluctuates. So the question is really what it comes down to is that, can you talk? Because when you have a fallout, how you deal with the fallout, how you deal with the disagreement or the disappointment shows the character, shows the real quality of the person that you're dealing with. How do they deal with feeling squeezed, negative disappointments? Listen to the things that come out their mouth. Find out what are their insecurities, because they're going to show, they're going to be revealed. Another thing also, show up as yourself. Don't spend time trying to present yourself as I'm a goody two-shoe type of a person, because as much as you have that's good about you, there's also things that are not so great about you. But show up as yourself. Don't keep trying to present yourself in a way that you think the other person is going to find appealing. Because in truth, after time goes on, you can't keep up that act. It's going to show through. And one of the ways that it shows through is in disappointment. When you feel disappointed, or you feel underappreciated, or you feel that you're not respected, it's going to bring out the real you. And the real you being revealed after you've spent how many months or a year of spending time trying to get them to believe you're this type of person, it's gonna shock their system. So be honest, be open, but also be kind. It's against the odds if you respond out of anger, if you respond with holding on to past bitterness that you've dealt with in the past, and you bring that into your new relationship. So when you see something similar to it, you're now going to take that anger from you not dealing with it back then, or you've gone through that then, and you're going to pound it on the new person. The new person isn't the old person. They don't deserve that type of heat. They don't deserve that type of negative reactions. But what you can do is learn how to be kind in your response. Being kind in your response allows the person to offend you, to disappoint you, to be themselves, and for you to then have a conversation about it without you giving them ammo to now hold against you. All this stuff is not easily said. Is not easily done. It's easier said than done. But the truth is that the odds are in your favor because there's so much information out there in the world today. There's so many ways and point of views that you can look at a situation, that if you come with what you believe it is, and in a negative way, like trying to take a stand for yourself, the odds are not in your favor for you to now work through the situation without harming their heart. Or better yet, getting a full explanation from the person without them feeling defensive. Because that's what you want. Because Lord knows that's what you try to set up with your kids. You want to set up an environment that they can tell you anything and everything. Because no one more than you as a parent is going to love your child without expecting anything from them. You want to give them that information. Not that they go to their friends who are typically around their age to get information on critical things that you know will matter to them, but they can have an environment at home where they can feel safe and not judged. And of course, you're going to be angry if they do something off the wall, but they know that that anger comes with a whole lot of love that allows them to hear your opinion or for them to share their opinion and not get totally destroyed for it. Because that's what love is. Love is you constantly trying to figure out how to share your thoughts, your passions, your likes, your wants, your dislikes in a way that the other person can receive them, so the other person can feel unguarded, so you can gather information and they can receive information and hopefully can do something with the information that they get from you. So these are the first steps. These are the first steps. Remembering that there are so many different perspectives out there to a way a situation could have played out, that you don't want to be so angry with disappointment, so angry with feeling underappreciated. Because if you know that the person didn't do it out of malice, the question is, what were they thinking? Or what did I do to make you think this particular thing is what I needed? Need to be a hard response or a soft response or a loving response? What did I do that caused you to feel that way? That then it opens the door for the person just to speak. Well, I heard you say this and this and that before, so I was offended by it, but I didn't want to bring it up. But now you did something again, and I figured I need to speak up about it. Yeah, it's all about communication. It's all about communications. So get into the habit of setting up an environment where you and the other person can just talk about situations without getting flustered, without you developing such a negative attitude. Because if you remember that the other person's not you, that there's no way that they're going to always do things according to what you think is right. They're just not. It's just not feasible. So here we are, building relationships, trying to connect with people in a way that's so much more deeper than just the physical activities of a relationship, the kissing, the hugging, and all that stuff. You really want a quality relationship built on being able to feel comfortable around a person, to feel connected to a person, to be inspired and motivated to do more, to be more by a person. And of course, the opportunity to let that person do those things also to you, to cherish you, to respect you, to appreciate you. Because you could be so tied up in being the giver that you don't set up environments for you to be the receiver. Blessings should go both ways. Blessings should go both ways. Allow a person to do for you. Allow a person to do for you so they can receive the blessings, just like you get blessed by always doing for them. So these are some of the thoughts regarding building a relationship. I am Gunter Man from Soapbox Stand Up and Speak. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and of course share this with your friends. Talk to you guys soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.